Hi, coaches. This is Deb, and my thought for the day is it worth it? And I think that's a question that is really, really important for us to ask because as we're going about building our Beachbody businesses or improving our fitness, doing things to better ourselves, things that are taking time out of our lives, that are hard, that are taking us out of our comfort zone, that are maybe costing us some money. We have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? You have to weigh all your options of the things that are competing for your time and your money and your attention. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And so many of you have shared with me your why. And it has everything to do with, from wanting to be able to stay at home with your kids and contribute to the family income while you're doing that so that it's not so hard for your husband. Some of you are working a full-time job and would like to be able to do something different that is more meaningful to you and not have to work in corporate America anymore. Some of you are working more than one job and would like to not have to be working your fingers to the bone for somebody else day and night, and still you're not able to make ends meet. Some of you are just really, really passionate about being able to inspire other people in your life or even your own self to achieve your health and fitness goals. Some of you have the vision to be able to take a family vacation for the first time ever, perhaps, to pay off some debt, to pay off student loans, to be able to help your spouse not have to work so hard, to inspire your children to be better role models for them. Your whys are so complex and they're so meaningful. And that's when you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? So instead of just asking yourself about, what is my why? Whenever you're doing your work and, you're doing your daily activities, you're inviting and you're adding new contacts and you're sitting in front of your computer thinking, well, I don't even know where to look now. Where do I go to find new people? How can I possibly ask this person to be a part of my challenge because I would be so embarrassed if they said no. That's when you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is a little embarrassment worth it if I could stay home with my kids? Is a few no's worth it if I didn't have to work that second job? Is it worth it for me to spend this extra hour a day doing this if I knew that it was going to lead to me being able to leave that job that's sucking the life out of me? Is it worth it? Ask yourself, if my why really happened, would all of this be worth it? And that's where I think it's really exciting, because when you think about it like that, gosh, wouldn't it be worth it? Gosh, if I did all this and I was able to quit my corporate job, wouldn't it be worth it? How exciting is that? Sometimes your why is kind of this this dream. It's like, oh, that would be so cool if that really happened. But deep down inside, we don't really maybe think that could ever really happen. It's just kind of this, oh yeah, that would be cool if it did. Well, what if you get forced into a situation like I did? I had started dreaming. I started having a different vision for my future. And a large part of it had to do with me being introduced to Beachbody. I had cleaned up my life physically. I had started to lead a better way of life. I wasn't drinking anymore, and I was embracing my fitness, and I was becoming much more grounded in my faith. So I was really cleaning up a lot of the stuff inside of me that I needed to clean up, which that gave me more inner strength to start having a vision for my life. And lo and behold, Beachbody's right there at the same time. All these wonderful changes are happening for me. I don't think that was a coincidence that Beachbody came into my life at that time when my mind was ready to think about a different future for myself. And it allowed me to start dreaming and start thinking, well, you know what? I might be able to do something different with my career. I mean, that's really the only part of my life at that time. That was the only part of my life that I was still miserable in. I mean, I was happy at home. I was feeling awesome as a person, but just the job was sucking the life out of me. And Beachbody allowed me to start dreaming. I actually started sending out resumes to other companies. And, you know, at this point, I wasn't seeing Beachbody as the way to leave my corporate job because, you know, that's a big step. You don't leave an executive position at a company to go work a stay-at-home business, especially before your business is successful, right? So I was sending out resumes, but in truth, I was dabbling. I was just dabbling. My husband and I both agreed that I needed to leave the company, that it wasn't the best place for me anymore. But in truth, I was dabbling because it was comfortable. I mean, so think about your own self. I mean, you tell me that you want different things out of your life, that you would like to leave your job, that you would like to not have to work, 2 full-time jobs, that you would like things different. But you know what? It's pretty comfortable. Maybe it's not fun. Maybe we're not entirely happy, but the life we're leading is probably pretty comfortable because we're familiar with it. I was comfortable. But all of a sudden, I had the stool knocked out from underneath me. It wasn't comfortable anymore. I was faced with a decision that I had to leave that company. I mean, it was like, okay, the time is now, due to some various circumstances. And all of a sudden, my why became all powerful. It wasn't just this, oh, wouldn't it be cool to be able to work in fitness for my job? Wouldn't that be cool? All of a sudden it was, I have to make this work. I have to. My family depends on this. When your why becomes more than just this lofty dream, that's when you realize what you're really made of. What you're that it is worth it. That, oh my gosh, I have to do these things. I have to work this. I have to face my fears and face those no's and go talk to those people that I'm intimidated by. I have to do that because if I don't, the alternative is unthinkable. I would have to go back to corporate America, which I'd already started dreaming bigger than that. I would have to, when I thought about, I was sending out resumes, but even after I left the company and I was working my business, but I was like, I'm going to make this work. But I was like, I would send out these resumes and I would look at the job descriptions and I would just shudder. I would just feel like sick inside. I was like, oh, that's just where I came from. Oh my gosh, no way, I can't do that. So, I guess that's the thing I want you to think about is it worth it? Think about your life. Vision your life as you want it to be. That's the vision. Envision it every day as you want it to be. If you want to work Beachbody full-time, then envision your life like that. Envision what it would be like to be able to see the kids off to school every morning, and then when they leave for school, you get your workout done and you come downstairs and you work in your home office and you get to talk to people about fitness all day, and the kids have a field trip, so you just leave, you can just leave your desk and go do the field trip. Maybe you spend the afternoon with them. When they get home from school, you're there. You've got, envision that. Envision if you're working 2 jobs or 3 jobs, envision what your life would be like if you had, more regular hours and you were home at dinner with the family every day and you weren't dog tired every day and you weren't working these jobs that you still don't have enough money to do the things that you want to do for your family. Envision it and feel it, and then ask yourself, is it worth it? If I could have that life, would this be worth it? And I kind of feel like I'm talking a lot, but I'm so passionate about this very subject. Is it worth it? Because only you know the answer to that. And you may decide that it's not worth it. You may decide that the hard work that you have to put in to building a new business is not worth it. That it's not, it's okay for me to just keep doing what I'm doing and working where I'm working and making the money I'm making. You may decide that that's worth it, that that's good enough for you, and that's fine. Totally fine, because we all have to make our own decisions about our life. But the key thing that you have to get into your head if you decide that it's worth it is consistency. That's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce, consistency. And it's not sexy, and it's not glamorous, and it's not a secret. It's consistency. You have to get up every day, and you have to do it, and you have to do it, and you have to do it again. And you have to do it even when you don't want to do it. And you have to do it even when you don't think it's working. And you have to do it even when you feel discouraged. And you have to do it when people keep telling you no. And you have to get up and you have to do it again tomorrow. And that is what I told myself, because that, when you have the stool kicked out from underneath of you, all of a sudden you don't have your little comfort safety net there anymore. That's when you're like, okay, I have to do this. And this is the only thing I knew to do, was to do what everybody told me to do, which were the top coaches, the successful coaches, the leaders on our team. The only thing I knew to do was to do what they told me to do, and just to keep on doing it. Because every single person I talked to, every single person I listened to on National Coach Calls, all said the same thing. You got to do it. Got to do it. Got to invite every single day. Got to invite. You got to meet new people. You got to invite people to be your friends. You got to relate to people, get out of yourself and start being curious about others, which for this introvert was very uncomfortable. You had to invite people to challenge groups. You had to be a role model. You had to wake up every day and be inspiring. And if you didn't feel so hot that day, then you talked yourself, your mental attitude, your mental muscle, and you said, you know what, this is a great day, and I'm glad to be alive, and I'm glad I'm going to help somebody today. Who can I help? And you had to do you had to be a product of the product, and you had to do your workouts every day, and you had to post about it on Facebook, and you had drink your Shakeology, because not only is it delicious, but it's so awesome for you, and you had to show people that. And you had to do your personal development, the 3 vital behaviors, personal development. You had to read those books and listen to those CDs. And I'm telling you, I dug into that stuff because that was like my lifeline. I mean, that's what they said I had to do, was do that. So I did that. And consistency every single day. And I'm telling you what, you're going to get way more no's than you do yeses. Even no matter how far you go in this business, you're going to get way more no's than you do yeses. The only difference, I think, perhaps with me than with you is, there's a couple things. Number one, I'm probably talking to a lot more people. So the more people I talk to, the more yeses I'm going to get, because it's a numbers thing, So the more people you ask, the more people you talk to, the more no's you're going to get, but the more yeses you're going to get, right? If you only ask 2 people, you're probably going to get 2 no's, to be quite honest. If you ask 10, you might get a yes. If you ask 20, most likely you will. You're going to get a yes or 2. So you got to keep doing that consistency every single day. The other difference, I think, in what I do versus what you do is I've been doing it longer. So people are more familiar with me in this role, right? When I first became a coach, nobody was looking to Deborah for fitness advice. Nobody was, waking up wanting to know what my Facebook page said. Nobody was seeking me out. I had to go seek them out, just like you are doing today. I had to go seek them out. I had to message them. I had to ask them. Now today, where I'm at, almost 3 years later, I have some people that come to me, which is really cool when you get to that point. But I still do it and do it and do it over and over again. And I still am meeting new people every day. That is one of my main goals. So, my message here is to ask yourself, is it worth it? Do you have a vision? Do you have a why? Is it compelling enough? Because if it's not compelling, remember what I said, why bother? Why bother? Is it worth it? Envision. Do you have a vision for what you want your life to look like? Can you see it? Can you hear it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it? And when you vision that, ask yourself, is this worth it? have a happy weekend, have a happy Easter, and I will look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. Talk to you soon.